Hi guys, my name is Priscilla and we are here with Curly, our Linnaeus two-toed sloth. It is International Sloth Day, and what better way to celebrate than to bring Curly out so you guys can actually meet him. And like I said, he is a Linnaeus two-toed sloth, so he has 2 toes in the front and 3 toes in the back. All two-toed sloths will have the 2 toes in the front, and every sloth will have 3 toes in the back. He is the largest species of sloth, and he weighs about 26 pounds, and he's 26 years old as well. So sloths can live to be about, it's documented to be in their 30s, but we do have a sloth here who is well into her late 40s. And so these guys live their life completely upside down. They live high up in the canopies, and so they are very slow because they eat mostly leaves. But here at the zoo, we feed them not only some browse and leaves, but they also get produce as well. So Curly kind of has a grape stuck in his mouth right now, which is one of his favorite things. But he also really likes egg, is one of his favorite things, and apple. And so once he gets that grape down, we'll give him some more treats. A pretty cool fact about sloths is that there is a species of insect that lives their complete life cycle on a sloth, and it's called a sloth moth. And then the larvae actually eats the poop of the sloth, and that's how they survive. So it's a pretty interesting fact. These guys only come down from the trees about once a week, and it's usually to use the bathroom. And then since they have a slow digestive system, which makes them slow, whatever he's eating today, he won't actually defecate for about a month from now, which is a pretty crazy fact as well. If you guys are just tuning in, this is Curly. Curly is our Linnaeus two-toed sloth, and and today is International Sloth Day, so which is another reason why we brought him out. You guys can actually see him and meet him. You might notice that his nose is a little sweaty. It's a little wet. That's how they perspire. So they perspire through their nose. So as you can see, he thinks that he's working pretty hard right now. But he's not. He's fine. We do have another sloth on exhibit. If you guys ever come to the zoo, like if you guys are coming to Zubu this weekend, brought to you by Lyondell-Bissell, you will see a female sloth. Her name is Cheetah. She is also a two-toed sloth, and she is on our rainforest exhibit. We have keeper Rachel, who's trying to see if he wants something else. He said no. So usually egg is his ultimate favorite treat that he likes to get. And so since he's being so good, that's what we'll usually give him. He's being very calm right now. But these guys, like I said, they're very slow, but when they feel threatened, they can move very fast. And so what they tend to do is they'll tend to reach out for whatever is threatening them with their front arms and try and bring it to them, and they will bite whatever it is. And so if he chews, you guys can see that his teeth are really sharp. They are self-sharpening teeth, and he has 4 of them. And he needs those teeth so that he can actually get to the leaves and tear through some of the rough leaves that are out in the wild. So since they live in trees, their main predators are harpy eagles. And then when they're down below, their predators could be ocelots and also jaguars. But they're usually very well camouflaged in the canopy because they're green, because an algae grows on them. And that's where the sloth moth lives. Curly right now, he doesn't get wet very often. He actually really hates water. So he's a different color. But in the wild, they would be green because of the algae. And so they have a part that goes straight down their abdomen that helps the water run off and keeps him kind of dry. So he's very fluffy right now. And then that's another thing that they do when they feel threatened. Their hairs can actually fluff up and stand up, and they can make themselves look a lot bigger than what they actually are. And so Stacy asks, what does his hair feel like? That's a great question. So his hair is kind of coarse. It kind of feels like, I don't know, kind of like the Halloween brooms that are out right now. It kind of feels like that. It's kind of weird. and it's really nice right now. He actually gets a flaxseed oil supplement every day for his hair, so it stays nice and shiny and thick and luxurious. And so, like I said, there is another sloth that does live on exhibit. Her name is Cheetah. She is also a two-toed sloth, and she lives in the Natural Encounters building in our indoor rainforest exhibit. That's where you will see her. And if you guys ever want to meet Curly, we are actually starting up our sloth tours again in November. So you guys can actually reserve time to meet Curly and feed him some treats as well, if you'd like to. And I mean, he's pretty adorable, so who wouldn't want to meet him? So his eyes are pretty small. He's kind of blinky right now because the sun might be in his eyes, but they don't have great vision. They do have a great sense of smell. So that's kind of how they kind of determine what is around them. And they also have a pretty good sense of hearing. His ears right now are covered by his hair, but if you were to ever look at sloth ears, they look like little human ears. It's kind of weird, but kind of cute at the same time. Let's see. So his nails are maintained by us. So Curly has a couple of trainers, myself and Rachel, who's also in the background helping out. And what do we train sloths to do? So basically, since sloths are really slow, it takes a lot of patience, but for the most part, it's getting him comfortable with situations like this so that he can come out and he can actually meet people, and he serves as an ambassador for his wild counterparts. And so we're able to tell his story, and we're able to kind of talk about other rainforest animals and things that are harming them, which is habitat loss. And so one thing that we try and do here is recycle our paper. And so the zoo uses recycled content toilet paper. Our t-shirts that you see the staff wear are also made out of like plastic, recycled plastic. And then our maps as well are made out of recycled paper. So Sky asks, how long does he hang? So he hangs his whole life. They live their life completely upside down. And these guys actually sleep about 15 to 18 hours a day. So usually when we're here during the daytime, he is asleep and we don't see him very active. But we feed him overnight, and we give him enrichment and things to do overnight. And then there is evidence that he has moved around because he's made a mess in his enclosure. And he does things overnight that we don't see. But yes, but during the day he's asleep. So these guys are solitary animals. They only come together to breed and reproduce. And so a female sloth, her gestation period is about 6 months. And then the baby, when it's born, it'll be born while the mother is hanging upside down, and the baby will climb onto the mom's abdomen, and it will stay latched on for another 9 months until it has a little more strength to go off on its own. And so the way that they know that there's a female is they scent mark. So all of the branches in Curly's enclosure have this greasy residue underneath, and that's how the males will scent mark, and then females can vocalize. So these guys don't really vocalize. Curly will sometimes make a little hissing noise, but the females will vocalize and yell, call out for a male whenever she is ready to reproduce. And then they separate after they reproduce. And again, if you guys are just tuning in, this is Curly. Curly is our Linnaeus two-toed sloth. He is the largest sloth species. There's also a Hoffman's two-toed sloth who is a little bit smaller, and we do have one of those. Her name is Succotash. She used to live on our indoor rainforest exhibit, but she's a little older now, and so she's retired. She lives in a back area of Natural Encounters. How long has Curly been at the zoo? So Curly's 26 right now, and he came to us when he was 18 years old. So about eight years. And so it took a while for us to get him to this level because and you know, initially he wasn't used to coming out and you know, meeting guests and things like that. So it took some time, some training with him to get him comfortable to do stuff like this so that he can come out and meet the public. And if you didn't hear before, sloth tours are starting up again in November, and you guys can actually reserve a chance to meet Curly, and you can feed him and hopefully get a photo opportunity with him as well. And then if you guys are here for Zubu this weekend, you can see his future girlfriend. Her name is Cheetah. She lives in our indoor rainforest exhibit in the Natural Encounters building. So when you come for Zubu, you guys can walk through the building and check her out as well. She's a lot lighter in color, and sometimes she is at the end of the bridge inside the indoor rainforest exhibit. That's where you can kind of find her, because she is usually sleeping as well. So we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can join us again next Wednesday at 11 a.m. and happy International Sloth Day.